So picture this. You finally buy your dream condo, and the very first thing you do is tear out that old, dated carpet to put in some beautiful, modern flooring. But just as you're about to finish, you get a notice. Tear it all out. Today, we're diving into a story where that exact nightmare came true, and it put a new homeowner head-to-head with the full legal force of his homeowners association. It's a situation that brings up a huge question for millions of people. I mean, when you've put your money and your vision into your own home, where does the community's power stop and your freedom begin? Let's break down how one simple home improvement project actually ended up in court. All right, let's dive in and set the scene. This whole conflict kicked off with a really common, simple project, putting in new floors. Our story is all about a guy named Sebastien Verstraet. Back in January of 2023, he bought a third-floor condo at the Monterey Ridge Condominiums. And, like any new homeowner, he was just really excited to make the place his. So project number one was to get rid of the old carpet and install that really popular luxury vinyl plank flooring, LVP. It's a great choice, looks like hardwood, but it's way more durable. His goal? Super simple. Modernize the place and, as he said later, bump up its resale value. But here's where it all goes sideways. The project was almost done when the community manager just happened to be on site and saw the work. He told Sebastien he was violating the community's rules and that all that new flooring, it had to go. And just like that, his renovation screeched to a halt. So you're probably thinking, how could new floors go so wrong? Well, from the homeowner's point of view, the HOA's demand seemed totally out of line. Let's take a look at the case he made. His main argument was pretty simple, really. He testified, and I'm quoting here, "I had no knowledge of the HOA rules for the flooring." He couldn't imagine that an HOA would actually ban what he saw as a standard modern upgrade. And he tried to build his case on just common sense. First off, he pointed out that his own unit already had LVP in the kitchen and bathrooms, so you'd think it was an approved material, right? He also argued that LVP is the standard now, and forcing him to keep carpet would actually tank his property value. And maybe most importantly, he noted he never got a single noise complaint from the neighbors downstairs. Okay, but this is maybe his strongest point, technically speaking. The whole reason HOAs usually restrict hard flooring is to stop noise from traveling to the unit below. There's this thing called an IIC sound rating, which just measures how well a floor blocks impact noise, like footsteps. Most condos say you need a rating of 50. Well, the flooring Sebastien put in had a rating of 63. That means it was way better at blocking sound than the typical requirement. So from his perspective, any argument about noise was just pointless. And this is what really raises the stakes. He testified that this rule wasn't just some small inconvenience for him, it was an absolute deal breaker. He said, "I would not have purchased this unit if I was aware of the rule," which makes it super clear that if he'd known, he would have walked away from the sale entirely. Okay, so that's his side. Now let's jump over to the other side of the courtroom and see how the HOA built its case. Their argument had nothing to do with modern design or resale value. It was all about the cold, hard text in their rulebook. You see, the HOA's entire case boiled down to one thing: the CC&Rs. That stands for covenants, conditions, and restrictions. This is the legally binding contract that every single homeowner agrees to when they buy a place in the community. And here's the kicker: you agree to it the moment you buy, whether you've actually read it or not. And in this case, the rule was, well, it was crystal clear. The HOA pointed right to Section 4.24 of their documents. It explicitly prohibits hard floor coverings and even gives examples, including the exact material he used, vinyl, in all third-floor units like his. There really wasn't any wiggle room there. And this right here, this is the heart of the whole problem, isn't it? On one side, you've got the homeowner making a logical case based on modern standards and just plain common sense. And on the other, you have the HOA, whose position is totally locked in by its legal duty to enforce the written contract, no matter what. So you've got these two totally opposite, but kind of compelling arguments. In a formal hearing, a judge has to make a choice. Does practical, common sense logic win, or does the black and white text of a legal contract win? This is exactly what the administrative law judge had to wrestle with. Do you side with a homeowner who, made a pretty understandable mistake based on today's standards, or do you uphold the letter of the law exactly as it's written in the community's founding documents? So the verdict? It was decisive. The judge ruled in favor of the homeowners association.
Sebastian's request was denied, and he was ordered to remove all of the new flooring. So why did it go down this way? The judge's decision really pointed to two critical things. First, the rule itself wasn't confusing or vague. It was, in the judge's own words, clear and unambiguous. There was absolutely no doubt about what it meant or who it applied to. But this was the real nail in the coffin. While he was testifying, the homeowner admitted that he got the community documents before he bought the place, but that he did not fully read them. And in the eyes of the law, well, that was it. Game over. You just can't argue that you didn't know about a rule you were given but chose not to read. Okay, so what's the big takeaway from this really expensive and stressful whole mess? This case is a huge cautionary tale for anyone who lives in or is even thinking about buying into a property with an HOA. The lesson here really boils down to a super clear 3-step plan to avoid this kind of nightmare. First, read the documents. Yeah, I know they're long and boring, but they are a binding legal contract. Second, ask first. Before you even think about a renovation, ask the HOA about the rules. Never, ever assume. And third, get approval in writing. Don't let a single hammer swing until you have that official written permission in your hand. And, this whole thing leaves us with a much, much bigger question. This case wasn't just about flooring, it was really about that fundamental tension that exists in any planned community. It forces us all to ask, in the place you actually own, what's the right balance between the collective rules of the community and your individual freedom to make that place your own? And that's a question with no easy answer.